This is DC. I don't have any special effects, so you gotta pretend that I just kicked some poor sucker like down a flight of stairs or like down some deep tunnel or something like that. Alright, I don't know why I made the reference to 300. I'm not reviewing that movie today. Today I'll be reviewing 3 movies. And of course I'm going to start with terrible. Alright, first film in a line of films that are remakes of old comic books is called Daredevil, and it's from like 2003 with Ben Affleck. Now Ben Affleck, once you throw that name in there, it just changes the chemistry of the movie. I mean, it's bad enough that Stan Lee is letting Hollywood just have their way with every single comic book that used to be interesting. They're seriously batting like 1 for 100 right now with remakes. But Daredevil is so entertaining, not only because Ben Affleck's in it and I can barely get through his acting.
Dude, what are you talking about? He's an awesome actor. Oh, what about Jigglypuff? That movie Jiggly? Awesome. Because Jennifer Lopez was in it too, and you know everything she touches is gold.
And the word acting and Ben Affleck don't really fit into a sentence. And the fact that there's a real human being writing the stuff that he's saying. But some of the lines just are hilarious. For those of you that don't know Daredevil, he's a superhero, but he's a blind superhero. So he carries around like a cane and stuff, and he fights crime. Now he can't see anything, of course, but because of the mutation at a young age, he has like a super spidey sense for everything else. And in one scene, he meets Elektra, and he asks her name, and they get into a fight. But one of the best lines from that scene, he's like, "Wow, do all the guys have to fight you just to get your name?" To which she replies, "You should see what happens when you ask for my phone number." El Terrible. Yeah, and someone wrote it. Someone getting paid a lot more than anyone watching this video wrote this stuff. I don't know who I'm more upset at. Stan Lee for letting it happen, Ben Affleck for being an idiot, or in this movie, Colin Farrell, who annoys the hell out of me in this movie. He's one of the villains, Bullseye. And I'm not even going to talk about how annoying of an actor he is in this movie. Just look at the picture.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I don't see what's not cool about that character at all. I think that's awesome.
And a worse note about this movie is that the director who made this piece of garbage went on to make Ghost Rider. You did such a great job of ruining Daredevil. Why don't you come back and ruin Ghost Rider? Idiots! Alright, next movie, Death Race. That came out just last year. New action star of the century, Jason Statham. He's like the 2000s replacement for Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, but he could put a sentence together. I personally like him when he started out, when he was doing films like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. But now he's pretty much the same guy in every movie. The nice family guy, but I'm still a badass.
Come on, mate. I'm just desperate for some money, mate. They ain't gonna make Transporter 4.
And of course, Death Race had to do the cliche of introducing all the badass characters to the audience while pretending not to introduce them to the audience. In these movies with a bunch of badass guys and you have to introduce them real quick. See that guy in the leather jacket? That's Billy Badass. 15 years in Miami Penitentiary. Killed his own cat with a fork. Only guy in jail with a PhD. See the essay over there? Yeah, Mexican Mafia, 1964. He does cocaine up his ear. And then a free shot of him. Oh, who's that guy? Oh, that's Betamax DC. He was dropped at birth. Betamax DC. Real name, DC. Code name, Betamax DC. Arrested at 14 years old. Dropped on his head as a child. Killed his cat with a fork. Wow, this accent makes this narration seem really legit. As corny as it was still entertaining to watch. It was very visual bay, I gotta give it that. But in Death Race, the prison story going on has way too many parallels with Shawshank Redemption. I mean, this movie was trying to be Shawshank Redemption on 100% Colombian cocaine, pure. Let's see, in Death Race, the main character gets framed for killing his wife. Kind of like Shawshank Redemption. And then in jail, he meets a group of friends that helps him out, and one of them is his mentor. Kind of like Shawshank Redemption. And while he's in prison, the warden asks him for a favor that can help him out. Kind of like Shawshank Redemption. Check that one off the list. Oh, but it's not over yet. At the end of the movie, when he breaks out, he reunites with one of his friends from jail. Kind of like Shawshank Redemption. Come on now. But if you want to see shit blow up, Death Race. Alright, last one and the best out of these 3 is Watchmen. Now, I didn't know what to expect exactly with Watchmen, but I knew the director had done 300, so I knew it was going to be at least better than the average remake.
The question is, who watches The Watchmen? Get it? Because he's the blue guy and he doesn't have any, the pupils, and so he can't actually see The Watchmen because it doesn't look like he can see. Okay, back to you.
I can't say too many bad things about it. There's a token corny parts to it. Of course, Rorschach's my favorite character because he's my roommate, but the only person that bothered me in Watchmen was the guy who played Night Owl. I don't even know his name. I've never seen him in a movie before. I can wonder why. I just thought he wasn't a good actor. I thought it was corny. I know the Night Owl's character was supposed to be like that, kind of dorky, but it was just bad acting. I wasn't like a huge Watchmen fan before the movie came out, but they did a really good job of the visuals. As much action as it does have, it's actually character driven, so there's a lot of acting in it. And the guy who played the comedian reminded me of Robert Downey Jr., so I thought that was pretty funny. Those are my 3 for the day. If you don't like me reviewing movies, I'm just gonna look back at you and whisper in your ear, no.
Through my own mind, I was able to resurrect my body again. No, you didn't. Forgot pubes.